Hello everyone, I welcome you all. Now in today's lecture we will be looking towards the topic rules for ventilation and lighting, and second topic will be means of vertical circulation or types of vertical circulation. Now let us see rules for ventilation and lighting. For a clear light, a clear window area in the wall abutting to air space either directly through open veranda or gallery should be provided. Means to have or to maintain the healthy environment inside the room or inside the bungalow, sufficient amount of openings in the form of doors and windows should be provided. In short, if you are requiring fresh healthy environment, healthy breeze, that is cool breeze, and to maintain sufficient and efficient amount of lighting throughout the day, openings are most important. And if this is not the case, there will be darkness throughout the day and dull environment will be created if you does not provide sufficient amount of openings, and this will lead to increase in your light bill. Hence you will be forced to use artificial lighting and forced to use ACs and fans so as to maintain or make the environment cooler. Here you can see in this format or in this type you can provide the openings. Openings should be mostly followed for cross ventilation, that is in opposite or adjacent to walls openings should be provided so that entire area inside the room could be ventilated and lighting can be provided. Mostly openings are preferred depending upon the sun diagram or the direction of blowing breeze. Depending upon the flowing wind, openings are provided. Also, depending upon the various environmental conditions, maybe hot climatic condition or rainy climatic conditions, rules for ventilation and lighting differs. Let us see one by one. For light, a clear window area in the wall abutting to air space either directly through open veranda or gallery, and this should not be less than 1 by 10th of floor area for a dry hot climate. Now if your building is in the dry hot climate region, then minimum opening required for the room or for the bungalow should be 1 by 10th of the floor area, whereas 1 by 6th of the floor area of opening should be provided in the dry wet climate. Third, 1 by 8th of the floor area for a dry intermediate climate openings are necessary. These are all the minimum requirements depending upon the different climatic conditions differing zone to zone. And last, 1 by 12th of the floor area should be provided for dry cold climate. Here you can see single sided ventilation, this is cross ventilation, and this one is stack ventilation. Mostly preferred is cross ventilation, where from one window fresh air is entered into the room, whereas foul air is pushed outwards throughout the second window. And where floor height is more than normal floor heights, then stack ventilation is utilized, where cool breeze or fresh air enters into the room from the windows and the hot air, due to its lesser density, moves outwards from the stack windows provided at the roof levels. In this way, you are supposed to provide all the minimum criteria for lighting and ventilation. And if you provide these rules and regulations for lighting and ventilation, automatically more usage of renewable energy will take place, hence reducing your light bills. The aggregate area of door and window shall not be less than 1 by 7 of the room area. Means if you are providing the door and window for the room, minimum area should be 1 by 7th of the total room area. And in addition to the above means of light, every such room shall have ventilator of at least 0.3 meter square in an area near top of the wall. Here you can see, if proper lighting and ventilation or proper means of opening are not provided into the walls, temperature inside the house grows on increasing, hence disturbing the healthy environmental conditions. And depending upon the sun diagram and nature of the flow of the wind, you are supposed to provide the openings for the bungalow. Now next topic comes vertical circulation. Vertical circulation is nothing but movement from one floor to the other floor inside the bungalow or the building. And depending upon these, basically staircase, lifts, escalator, ramps, etc. are used as means for vertical circulation. Now let us see the first one, staircase. Now this is nothing but staircase, and these are the components of staircase. The soffit of the slab staircase or the bottom of the staircase slab is called as waist slab. Here we can see this is the waist slab. Then this horizontal portion, here you can see nosing plus going, this horizontal portion where we are going to place our foot is nothing but tread, and this vertical portion perpendicular to the tread is nothing but riser. This nosing is nothing but the projected part beyond the riser. And handrail. Handrail is nothing but composition of the newel post, balustrades and handrails. This total comprises for the handrail, and its minimum height that is to be provided will be 0.75 meters, and landing is provided so as to change the direction of flight. Now let us see some minimum requirements or specifications that are required for staircase depending upon the type of the building. Minimum width for various building staircase. Residential building staircase. In case of residential building, minimum width of the flight required will be 1 meter. For hotel buildings, minimum width of the flight required will be 1.5 meters. In no case, these criteria should be disobeyed. Whereas for assembly buildings staircase, minimum flight width will be 2 meters. In case of institutional buildings, that is hospitals, schools, colleges, etc., minimum flight width will be 2.5 meters. And remaining all other public buildings, in no case flight width should be less than 1.5 meters. Now let us see minimum tread requirements for various building staircase. For residential building staircase, minimum tread will be 250 mm. Whereas for high rise or public building staircase, in no case tread should be lesser than 300 mm. That will be minimum criteria for the tread in case of high rise or public building. Maximum riser requirements. For residential building staircase, 185 to 190 mm maximum riser should be provided. Means in no case riser height should be more than 185 to 190 mm. Whereas for high rise public building, 150 mm is the maximum criteria for providing the riser. That is, riser height should not be greater than 150 mm. Most important thing to be noted is that in a single flight, number of risers should not be more than 12 numbers. If you are providing number of risers more than 12, that is 15, 16 or 20 in a single flight, this is not suitable. Hence, minimum requirement or maximum requirement of risers in single flight should not be more than 12 numbers. After achieving the number of risers up to 11 or 12, flight direction should be changed. And handrails are most needed and should be provided having minimum height of 0.75 meters. Second means of vertical circulation is nothing but lift. Now lift is necessary for the high-rise structures, or where basically building height is more than G+3, lift is mostly provided. This is the easy means of vertical circulation from one floor to another. And depending upon the usage of lifts, lifts are mainly classified as passenger lift, service lift or goods lift. And depending upon their use and capacity, area of the duct or area of the lift that is to be provided varies. Now let us see some basic requirements of lifts. Lift should be easy to access. That is, from all the corners of the building, lift should be easily accessible. That is, it can be located centrally or adjacent to the staircase or alternative means of access. Lift or bigger size for railway station, airports and hotels should be provided. Means in case of public buildings where large public is attracted, lifts or bigger size should be provided so that maximum people can move from one floor to another floor. Next, all hospitals should be provided with big service lift so as to accommodate the big size beds trolleys, stretchers, and other electrical machinery equipments that are required in the hospital. Lift should be fireproof for at least 1 hour. Now, in case of emergency, lift should be fireproof and it should be for at least 1 hour. Now, third means of vertical circulation is escalator. Escalator is nothing but the moving stairs. This mostly you see in public buildings, that may be railway stations, airports, and cinema halls, or shopping complexes, shopping malls. Now, there are some minimum requirements for the escalator that is to be provided. Let us see one by one. Speed of the escalator should not be more than 0.75 meter per second. Emergency stop control should be visible and accessible to all the user. In case of any mishappening, emergency stop control should be immediately visible and accessible for all the users. Escalator should be provided with the alternative means of access. That is, staircase should be provided alternatively for the escalator. Moving handrail should exceed minimum 300 mm beyond the start and end of the escalator. Means at the portion of landing, minimum length requirement of the handrails will be 300 mm and it should be movable. Riser in case of escalator will not be greater than 240 mm or 210 mm. And vertical clearance of minimum 2300 mm, that is 2.3 meter, is necessary in case of escalators. Footway at the start and end should be contrast, that is clearly we can distinguish it. That is, color pattern of the escalator and the footway should be different so that we can clearly distinguish the difference between the footway and moving escalator. Moving step width should be 580 mm to 1100 mm. That is, the width of the flight in case of escalators will be minimum 580 mm or up to the 1100 mm. Now, fourth, means of escape. Now, means of escape are basically required in case of emergency, and this includes doors, windows, and staircase. Staircase should be directly lead to the ground. Mostly in case of apartment building, two staircases are provided, or in case of public building, one staircase which leads to the basement where parking is provided and another staircase which leads directly to the exit. And during any emergency, direct exit staircase which leads to the ground should be marked with the signs and convention. So in case of emergency, one can follow the direction and immediately exit from the building. Location of the staircase should be such that it is easily accessible from any corner of the building in an emergency situation. Staircase of minimum width 1 meter and handrail height minimum 1 meter is must in case of means of escape. Walls should have fire resistance of at least half hour or more. Exit direction should be well marked. Now, if person is new into the building, he will be not known to the exit and entry of the building. Hence, at suitable intervals or direction change, entry and exit points should be marked with proper sign conventions. This will be most helpful in case of emergency. In most of the public places, you may have seen such kind of signs and conventions which shows fire exit. That is, in case of emergency, which direction you should follow. And these directions are must so as to achieve the 2.5 to 3 minute escape time. That is, the building in case of emergency should be cleared within 2.5 to 3 minutes so that no public harm or no loss of life will take place. In this way, we have seen the vertical means of circulation. If you are satisfied with the content, do like, subscribe the channel and share the videos. Thank you very much.